What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the LA Soccer Hub Show. My name is Gio Garcia. Today's Monday, June 28th, man. It was a crazy day for Euros. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Mbappe missing his penalty kick. We're going to talk about the Croatia-Spain game. And we're also going to talk LA Galaxy because it's Monday and we talk LA Galaxy. And here to help me, join me today to talk LA Galaxy, we got Nelson Miranda from the G30 podcast. Nelson, how you doing?
Hey, thank you, man. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Gio, and the boys. They can't be here today, but they send thanks too, man. We're all fans of what you do. We were talking a minute ago about the balanced nature of the show, and it's just really good for the city and for the sport, man. So thank you for having us on.
Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate you guys listening, and I like the work you guys are doing. But yeah, let's talk about how you guys got started with the G30 podcast and how long you guys been supporters of the LA Galaxy.
Yeah, so that's the thing on our show. It's we our whole thing. We started as Galaxy in 30 with the idea that we would be like a pregame show. Like it takes people about 30 minutes to get to the stadium, probably for most places. So throw something on in the car to get a pregame going, talk about the last week a little bit, and get some hot takes. So it's me, my younger brother, Michael, and our friend, Tim. And I'm the old head, I guess, as they would say on the show. You know, I've been following the Galaxy for a little over a decade now, probably 09. I went to my first game in like 08, really started following the team in 10. And they're a lot younger, like they're like the end of Beckham, kind of, that glory time, and they've known pain most of their time. So we thought we would like to capture that in a podcast, right? Going into this new era, and COVID was a good time to do that. We're all at home anyway. My brother's always texting me like, why is it this? Or like, when did this happen? Right. So we thought it would be cool to kind of capture, like Galaxy in 30 minutes over a span of ages, right? And kind of appeal a little bit to everybody. So that's what we do. And we've just started going live and have ventured into that kind of chaotic thing. But yeah, that's what we do.
I like it. Like it. So what let me ask you, why 30 minutes? What
Good
was
question.
like, that's how much time you guys like, you're like, hey, I got 30 minutes, I got these things, or like,
it's a little bit of everything. That's a good question. No one's really asked us that yet. They've kind of just accepted that it's 30
I came
minutes.
prepared.
Yeah. A lot of the podcasts are long. I love it. There's no like shade or anything to that. A lot of podcasts are a couple of hours.
Oh yeah.
And we're sitting around trying to like figure out like, what kind of little niche could we do? And it's like, you know what? Let's get in. Let's talk about it. Let's go. And that kind of works with everybody's schedule, and it's a format we've kind of tried to play with. It's hard though. It's hard to kind of, we inevitably end up going like 40 minutes a lot of the time, or, longer if we have guests, but, we kind of just want it to be the pregame show.
I like that. I like it. 30 minutes. Yeah. Sometimes I try to keep it in an hour. I don't try to go to an hour, too much over an hour, because I know it could get a little much, or, it could get a little long, but I like the 30-minute mark, and it's quick. You get everything that you need to get into there, and you check it off. Hey, if you check off everything on the bucket list, we hit 30 minutes. We're good, baby. We don't need to do anything else. Tune in next week, right? Tune in for the next episode.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's good.
Nice. I like that. So what's been your best experience at an LA Galaxy game so far?
Ooh, like this year or ever?
Give me like your top. Give me like your top 3 of all time.
Okay, so I know it. We get a lot of crap on our show. All 3 of us would say the Zlatan goal, right? Like that was amazing. Like that is something that we will never see again. Like in all of sports moments, like that is a once in a lifetime thing.
Oh, for
sure. That's one. Another one in recent memory that pops out, I think, just because the team has been struggling so long. When we played Minnesota in the playoffs, like Zlatan's last year, and we beat them, like that Jonah banger, there was a lot of love. We were watching the game at the stadium. They were away in Minnesota. I went to Houston last year. That was great. There's been a lot of like recent for me, but like a lot of the I went to FC Dallas in like 2015 for Landon's going away tour, and like that was special. There's a lot, man. It's hard to pick three, but
Yeah.
in recent memory, like the Zlatan goal for sure. I hate it. I hate that it's that, but
I
that's
mean, recent history, so it doesn't do. I mean, you got to pay his dude, and Zlatan was an amazing guy, and he just came out with his own documentary, I believe. So yeah, I saw that. So I mean, Zlatan. So we'll see. We'll see if Chicharito can top some of those this
he's on
season.
he's on par. Apparently, I just saw a thing today. He's matching the goal a game or whatever. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he's putting some heat. But before we get into that, we gotta talk about the Euros, man. It was crazy day of soccer today. The Euros 2020, right? We had Spain, Croatia. It was an amazing goal, amazing game, and amazing goals. Ended up 5-3. I was watching that game, and I think once Spain went up 3-1, I was like, I'm turning this off because I had to do like some work stuff. I was like, I'm just turning it off. I had to get on a call. And then my phone notifies me. I get like the ESPN notification that like Croatia had just tied it 3-3. And I'm like, what is going on? So I turn it back on, and I was like, tied 3-3. It's going to overtime. And it was just crazy to me. And then all of a sudden, I look away or I do something. I need to do something. And then Spain's up 5-3. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Were you able to catch that Spain-Croatia game or no?
I didn't catch that game. I did have like my text chain with my friends or whatever. Everyone was like, haha, Spain, like love to hate Spain. Like they're going to, go down at the hands of Croatia. And then same thing. I was working. I went away for a little bit. And then I came back and it was like, what? Everyone in the thread was like, how, but I did not see it.
No, it was crazy.
It seems like a crazy game.
Yeah, no, and the way it started, the goalkeeper, Spain's goalkeeper, got an own goal because the ball went past him. And I was like, oh my God, like no way. This is how, like, it's starting to go bad. That's how you start. And then Croatia had all the momentum because at first Spain was controlling the game. They were like the better team the first half, and that own goal comes in and it just gets crazy. And then I don't know where Spain ends up scoring 2 goals, and I'm like, it's done. Turn it back on, and then all of Spain ends up winning. That was an exciting game. And then obviously we gotta talk about France versus Switzerland. I was like, look, if this next game's anything like the previous game, I got to tune in and watch, right?
So
and did you? I think you said you watched this one, right? What were your thoughts on this game?
Okay, so I have a friend from France.
Okay.
My friend Matt, shout out. We call him Frenchie. He was in the thread saying he was like hard on Mbappe. He's like, no, like F this guy, kind of. And I don't follow the team as closely as he does, I'm sure. But it's like, what are you talking about? Like Mbappe. And right before the penalty started, he was like, he better take the first one or like none of them or whatever. And then I was like, what? Like you're just, you think of who Mbappe is and like the story around Mbappe, right? Like all of the hype. And then I was like, what is it talking about? And sure enough, I don't know.
No,
what's your reaction to that? What do you think?
So before I get to the penalty, I want to talk about like Switzerland, man. They were unbelievable. They get that first goal in the first 15 minutes and just shock everybody. And then what was it, the second half, they get a penalty to make the game 2-0. And then the guy who ended up taking the penalty, I don't know Switzerland players, so don't butcher me. I don't know who it was. He missed, or the keeper blocked it, he missed, or whatever. You guys get what I'm saying. Then like Benzema scores 2 goals in 2 minutes right after that. He scores in the 57th, 59th minute. And I'm like, dang, the tide has turned. It's 2-1. And then Pogba hits, oh my God, the golazo that he scored. I was like, wow. I was like, the game's over. The game's over. There's no way they're going to come back. And then sure enough, Switzerland scores in the 81st. And I was like, oh my God. And then I see him score in the 90th minute. I just yell. My window's open. I was like, I'm just like yelling. I was like, oh my God. Like I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, if it go, I was in the back of my mind, I was like, if it goes to penalties, I feel like Switzerland has a momentum. Great Griezmann was already out. Mbappe hadn't been playing good. Pogba, like he had a great game except for that. I think the last play that led to the goal, the game time goal. So like once the penalties, it came down to Mbappe, right? So it was just like And then it sucks because everybody made it except him. And like once the keeper saved it, I was like, oh shit. I was like,
Yeah.
dang. And you just see Mbappe like he's looking at the ref trying to see if he gets another shot. And then I was like, oh man, they've done it. And I couldn't believe it. But I was also happy for Switzerland because they deserved it, because France had all the opportunities to win this game and they did it.
Yeah, it's so much on all of the Twitters and all of the texts and everything, right? Everyone, I just kept seeing this afternoon in the feed, like, I love this sport. I love this sport.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
this sport.
Same,
I love
same.
this sport. Because it happens, and I think France, in recent times, appropriately, right, has a little swagger, a little cockiness. They're great. They're world champs, but if you don't take care of your business, you don't take care of your business on any given day, that
Yeah.
you'll be punished.
No, true. Good point. So that I mean it was crazy to knock them off with so much talent that they have. But yeah, let's get. I want to give a shout out a couple of people. Tuning us online. We got Gamer Sav. He's a Quacks guy. So what's up? What's up, Gamer? He said we beat the Quacks. Of course, you guys did. Soccer guy says Seb, what's good? Francisco Felix says the name of the Madagascar player who will be joining the Galaxy. He looks like to be a really good player.
Nice.
G-Man says Ryan Ravosin. I still don't know how to pronounce his name.
I don't think any of us do.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, no, I mean, we got a lot to talk about the LA Galaxy. So let's switch over because I know people are here to listen to the LA Galaxy, and this turned into a quickly Euros podcast because it was exciting. Look, those games were insane. They were insane. So yeah, the Galaxy ended up getting the win. They went again. The Cali Classico. They had just come off a great victory with the Vancouver Whitecaps, right? They ended up winning on the game winner, Efrain Alvarez. They have all the momentum. They go to this Galaxy versus San Jose Earthquakes game. What were your thoughts going into this game?
So it immediately, and like I'm bad. When I get put on the spot, it's like I can't remember. I don't know what I think. But going back, when I woke up that morning, I loved to see that the Galaxy had posted the highlights of the McGee in the goalkeeper, right? Like McGee stepped in. Yep. There was an injury and a red card, and McGee stepped in to be keeper. Another great memory of this rivalry, and it's interesting to see the team kind of try to embrace the Classico rivalry, right, in order to kind of buffer the LAFC rivalry a little bit, right? Like there's like in the fan base, it's been tight. It's like, is it LAFC? Is it San Jose? Is it both? And it depends who you ask, age and all of that. But it was a great day, and to wake up to that and to see the team kind of like pulling the history in the middle of the game too. In the halftime, they had like a history lesson basically of the two teams. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it, and I was super happy to get the win.
Yeah, no, it was good. Let's talk about this lineup. Greg Vanny went with, obviously Jonathan Bon in goal, Jorge Villafana, Nick Dupuis, Koulibaly, Araujo, obviously Leggett and Dos Santos, Efrain Alvarez. So it's I believe a 4-3-2-1, and then obviously Cabral on the left wing, Grant Sir in the right wing, and obviously Chicharito up top. I mean, it was a solid lineup. This is what they had, and Efrain getting in there, making an impact. He also gets called up to the national team. But let's talk about the first half, and I know the type of game that they had. What were your thoughts on the first half that the LA Galaxy did?
Okay, so can I back up a little bit to Vancouver?
Yeah, go for it.
I think what they did, and this has kind of been an issue with the Galaxy this season in general, and I think it's growing pains in Greg's system, right? Like the system right now is let's just play as a unit. And then when they're doing that, it's like the moles in the game, right? Like something pops up and they handle that problem, and then something else pops up, they handle that problem. Like, is it possession? Is it like not creating chances? In Vancouver, they got really lucky. I think it was a little bit of the luck that good teams need sometimes, right? Like sometimes stuff happens and you win and you take the points, and that's what you need, and that happens if you're a good team. I think in the San Jose game, they applied that lesson. They were like, we kind of played purposeless against Vancouver. Like, let's come out of the gate strong against San Jose with a plan. And I think the plan was to just go down their throat. And they had Jonah back. They had, to your point, the starting 11, I think it was as close to a starting 11 as we can have right now without Ravel Lasson, without Williams, that whole thing. And I think it was good, and I think it showed us what we can look forward to. Depew and Sega, like they'll charge, and they played that whole first half that way. They're like, we're not going to play scared of you, and the goal came, and then the rest of the half kind of takes care of itself.
Yeah, no, and I think that to your point, I think what we saw, like is Kevin Cabral and Grant Sir, be
Yeah,
very explosive on the offense, and I think especially with the team like San Jose who does that man marking, there's going to be
yeah,
opportunities there, and there was opportunities there for both teams, and I really liked that Greg Vanney talked after the game that obviously the French players they're still getting accustomed to this, but that you start to see them feel more comfortable, and that's the thing. I was just like, look, I don't expect them to make an impact right away, but they're also
yeah.
not costing the team. I think it's going to take a couple games, and I think now we're starting to see that, and they're starting to feel better. They're starting to get the flow of things. Their communication starting to get better. Everybody just looked comfortable in this
Agreed.
game, and everybody you can tell, okay, they're starting to mature a lot more, and understanding what Greg Vanney wants from them, and individually, and I really like the performance of pretty much everybody. I don't think there was one single bad performance, but
Yeah,
I also do like the way Chicharito's goals happen. I have Chicharito's goal here. I'm gonna play it, and then I want to get your thoughts on it.
yeah.
Roncier now to try and get the cross away, and it's in towards who else? Chicharito's done it again, and he's done it in the Clásico. Chicharito Hernandez opens the scoring for LA Galaxy away from home.
Well done by Javier Hernandez. Came in from behind. He is exactly where he needed to be. It's the killer instinct by the
Great goal.
It's what he does.
Yeah, in the 11th minute, you can ask for a better start. It comes from Samuel Grandsir. What were your thoughts on the goal?
And that's been a thing. It was funny. I was watching the game with my wife. We were hanging out. She's like, "How many is that already?" Like in the beginning of the season, the first 12 minutes. I think it's working what they do. Let's go out and punch them in the mouth. It's something we say a lot in like the Galaxy land. It's like what people want to see. I think initially Grandsir and Cabral come and like they're trying to be flashy and like be the guy, right? But I think you're right. I think they're buying into the system. I think they're buying into this idea we're all talking about playing as a unit. And I think they're making better decisions, especially Grandsir. He's been here enough now. People were really hard on him. And Cabral, too, we've talked a lot about on our pod about how people are impatient, right? Like they want to be good, but these guys are settling in, and you can see. And what I haven't seen people talk about is that potential link up where Cabral swung it all the way across to the other side, and then Grandsir missed, right? He just wasn't sharp. He has other things going on, I guess. But once they can be threats on their own, it is scary to think about then what Chicharito might do to level up and like even become more of a nuisance when all three of them are going. I think it's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, and I think you're seeing where they need to place the ball for Chicharito, right? I think that you see where Grandsir, he knows, okay, this is where I need to do. This is how I need to impact. As long as I throw it, get it somewhere in the box where Chicharito can get it. As long as he gets the foot, and we saw that in this game, and I think that's what I like to see from Grandsir. Obviously, you want goals to come. They both had opportunities, but as long as you get the end result, which is a W and the win, obviously, you feed Chicharito, who's a superstar, there's going to be more, those opportunities are going to open up for you down the line because Chicharito has 10 goals in 10 games. Obviously, he made he got player of the week once again, third time this season. He made team of the week as well, which was great to see. And everything's flowing for the Galaxy in the right direction. Obviously, they're still learning, they're still going, but they're getting results, right? They talked about getting 6 points in these 2 road games, right? And I think that's one of the biggest positives. Like you go on the road, you just went on a tough environment, you dismantled, you won a close game with Vancouver, and then you dismantled essentially San Jose Earthquakes. It could have probably been 4-1 if Cabral doesn't miss one right there. But I really like that. Give me your thoughts on Samuel Grandsir's performance and his passing, but also Kevin Cabral and what you really saw, because Kevin Cabral looked like like every time he got the ball, he was just like a gazelle out there running, and no one was catching up to him.
Yeah, I think Kevin. Okay, so we've talked a lot about on G30 about the criticism around Cabral, right? People are like, "Why is this guy a DP?" You know, we wanted him to be awesome right now, and like I think people forget that like it takes a while for people to settle in, like Keane, Beckham, like all of that stuff. It takes a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that in the way that Cabral plays. I can't count how many times I've seen in the last 3 or 4 games that he's played. He runs into the space and wants the ball. Like if it was Europe, the ball would be there. Or like he makes a pass and then he turns around and like the team's like, why did you pass it to nobody? Because if you were in Europe, like somebody would be there. I think it's taking a little while for him to adjust his skill set to like where the league is. And when he figures it out, and I think he is figuring it out, it's going to be big, and we'll see why he's on that DP contract, why he's on that young DP contract. He's not scared of people. He does the step overs. People feel all kinds of way about that. You know, like, is he too flashy? Is he better than he thinks he is? Does he think he's Mbappe? I don't know. I think all of that stuff is like noise.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't do those comparisons. You know,
I would
not. People are throwing those, but like I mean, him doing a step over him. Everything that he did this game was good except the miss, right? He had the miss in front of goal. Everything is good, but I think if Greg Vanney continues to play him out on the wing, I don't think he's a striker. I know Greg Vanney, like, you know, he tried to play that 4-4-2 against the Seattle Sounders, and he looked lost. It was because he was out of position. The wing is where you play Kevin Cabral, and then I think the wing is where he's going to be the most effective, or he's going to impact the game, and his one-on-one abilities, his versatility just to go blow by defenders and just to catch up, catch up to the ball and even drop back. It's really amazing, and I've really been impressed. I think just got to be patient with them a little bit more, and he's not like hurting the team. It's just it takes a little bit of time to understand what's going on, what they want out of them, and it's looking good. Like you know, you just want a couple goals to come, and I think that's the only thing. But I don't think that's too much of a knock on them or anything like that, because they will come.
No. Yeah, they will come. Like they will come. He will settle in. He will figure it out. It's his 4th or 5th game. Like, come on, He's 21. He'll figure it out. And I urge Galaxy fans listening to this to be patient. It's very clear on Twitter and everywhere else that people want him to be like this rock star right now, but it's going to take some time.
Yeah, Soccer Guy says Kevin Cabral is good. He struggles a little bit with passing, but other than that, he's good. He's got a lot of speed and has skills, moves, and has aggression from time to time. Yeah, obviously, he's not going to be the big physical guy, but like I think his speed is where he's going to be. Where he's going to beat a lot of people. Another guy that I want to talk about is Efrain Alvarez. Efrain Alvarez. We've seen what he did with the Vancouver Whitecaps. Right, he's rolling high with that coming into this game. What are your thoughts on Efrain Alvarez over these last 2 games?
The big message that night was, damn, was this a G2 game? Because he'd bang those in sometimes in G2, and he has a nasty left foot. As you've seen, if he makes the right decision. Again, it's a kid. He's come up in turbulent times in the team, right? He hasn't really had a consistent shot, but I think now that he's getting it, hopefully we'll start to see the development that everybody kind of wants out of him, and I think he has it. I think it's great that he's been called up to the Mexican national team. I think he's replacing Pizarro, I think.
Yep.
So hopefully that means he is occupying a central spot, and I hope he can learn from the other guys there and bring it back to the Galaxy. Ultimately, what's good for him is good for the Galaxy. It hurts a little. I'm a US guy, but whatever is good for him, he should do. And he's a kid and he has his life, and I think he should do what's best for him and bring it back to the Galaxy.
Yeah, no, and it's good. I think, I think things are starting to roll in the right direction with Efrain Alvarez. I think we're starting to see. I think most of it, or some of it, has to do with Greg Vanney and the coaching staff. We're seeing, obviously, when he made the transition these last couple of seasons under Guillermo, with GBS. We didn't really see, at times we saw glimpses of it, but we didn't see the consistency. And I think we're starting to see some of the consistency with Efrain Alvarez. I think, I think he's understanding his role. He looks a lot slimmer. He's making an impact, scoring the game winner for the Galaxy against the Vancouver Whitecaps. Coming into this game, playing the number 10 role. He's great with his passing. He's doing that, and I think now getting called up to the Mexican national team. Right, they got a game they play on Wednesday, so we'll see how much playing time he'll get. And then there's another game in LA this Saturday against Nigeria. So I think if the pieces are rolling right for Efrain Alvarez, and I think a lot again has to do with the Greg Vanney and the coaching staff, because they know he has talent. They just I think they just had to put him in the right spots at the right time, and he's been able to impact the game in so many different ways. And I think now it's the time, I feel like this is the season for Efrain to really, really impact to put a staple on hey, because I wouldn't mind if he were a starter. I know there's Victor Vasquez, a couple other players out there, but if he were to be the starter for the LA Galaxy, I know a lot of people can play the position he plays, but I think if he's able to be a starter, I think it's going to make his ceiling even more. What are your thoughts on that?
When I saw the lineup roll out on whatever day that was, Saturday night, and I saw that he was in the spot there, I was like, yep, 100% for it. Let him try. Leggett has had mixed success there in that position, and we know he plays well next to Jonah. In my mind, immediately it was like, yep. If this is what we're going to use him for, and this is where we want to keep him consistently, let's do it. You mentioned GBS. I think a big problem this team has had, a lot of these guys like Leggett, Efrain, a lot of the guys like Koreniak and the guys who are back on G2 now, they struggled because it comes out right that GBS was just go play, right? And there's no individual, this is your role, this is your job. And I think Efrain, the sky is the limit for him. He just has to take it. He seems serious, like you said. He's lean. He looks fit. He looks good. He's making an impact in games. I hope that he continues to rise. He was our big hope for a few years there, and it's been a little bit quiet for him.
Yeah, no, hopefully that changes for him. I want to see how he's able to play with the Mexican national team, because obviously that's a step above, right? Because it's the national team. So I want to see how he mixed well, because I think he's getting the playing time, and obviously he's getting called up there. So we'll see what happens. I want to talk about another player, Joel Araujo. He also made he also made Team of the Week. He's also looked a lot better. Obviously, he started a little slow this season, but his impact when it comes being a physical player, he makes his presence known, and I've really liked what he's done. And obviously, the proof is in the pudding, right? He made Team of the Week, and you want to see that. Hopefully, more consistent out of Joel Araujo. What are your thoughts on Joel Araujo?
The maturity, man, right? We've loved him the last couple of years because he has fire, right? And Rolf Felcher, that's a ship that's gone, and Araujo has his moment, and I have to admit I was a little worried at the beginning of the season. He came off of a rough U.S. camp, didn't really get the playing time he wanted. Usually he plays with a chip on his shoulder. He seemed kind of lost the first couple of preseason games and the first games, but he seems to really have settled back in. And he has that fight, and I think that's what everybody likes about him. He has the fight. He'll square up with people. It's not clear on this team yet, who is the one who kind of will scrap a little bit for the team when you need to do it, and he will. But he's doing it in a way. I think the biggest difference is he's doing it in a way that he's not getting dumb yellow cards or red cards or getting suspensions, and he's kind of matured that part of his game and learned to be a force without really getting too much of a penalty for being that way. And again, like Efrain, whether he decides to play for the U.S. or Mexico, whatever, I hope he gets the shout and really gets the chance to continue pushing, because I think he has it.
Yeah, no, he does. And what were your thoughts on this game against the San Jose Earthquakes and the impact that he had?
I think it was one of those quiet games, and I think that so many times people will say, if you don't notice a defender, that's probably a good thing, because they didn't mess up, or maybe they get an assist or whatever. I think he was consistent. I think he's meshing well with Sega on that side. I think the communication across the back line is much better, which in turn helps Julian's game a lot too. I think he's a little bit more free to attack without worrying about getting punished on the back. So I think he was solid. To be honest, I didn't notice him too much in the game, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And I think that kind of speaks to a broader like consistency in that back line.
Yeah. No, I mean, great performance by him, and I think he's continued to mature and progress, and I think also again a good credit goes to Greg Van and coaching staff. Now I want to talk about Chicharito's second goal. I think the play was just amazing. I think Chicharito gets the ball, Cabral passes that to Cabral, and Chicharito scores. I have it here, so we'll watch it.
Mexico. It's given away there now. Chicharito with space to run into. He'll slide it out wide here for Kevin Cabral. Approaching the penalty area, trying to play it towards Chicharito, and it's another tap in, and it's another goal already onto double digits. Chicharito Hernandez has been the star of MLS in this early season. He's got a brace, and the Galaxy are 2 goals to the good.
10 times Chicharito. Nice little cross into the box by Cabral. And once again, this is what Chicharito does best. He gets to that ball first. He knows exactly where it's going and just taps it in to the back of the net for the 10th goal of the Mexican this season. Made it look too easy. We knew it was coming. San Jose was leaving a lot of spaces on defense.
So what I really like about that play is Kevin Cabral just, he gets it. He sees the play like before he even crosses half field. Chicharito passes it to him. Just takes, obviously takes a couple, steps, a couple passes with the ball and puts it right in place. All Chicharito does is has to open up his foot and just gets it past the goalkeeper. And it was an amazing play. And I think obviously, typically Chicharito doesn't miss from there, right? And I think that's what we're going to see moving forward. And I think that, I said before the start of the season, if you want to make some impact, you would have to score at least 15 goals. Now I feel like that's too little. I felt like I was being very aggressive, but now 10 goals in 10 games, no one would have predicted this, but he's happy. He's rolling. Chicharito 2020, we don't even need to talk about it anymore, right? There's still plenty of season left, but we don't need to talk about what happened to him last year because I think that's all out the window. What were your thoughts on that play and that goal?
It's the same thing from the other side. It's that the 3 of them, when they get going, it's going to be beautiful stuff. But on that goal, I sat back and thought and just appreciated what Chicharito does, right? Like, he didn't need to do anything crazy flashy. He just needed to be in the right spot and touch it in. On the other side, like when I was saying, Cabral swings it to Grancer misses like a sitter. Like, not everybody has that. I think that's an underrated skill, that he has. And whatever, he's a poacher, and I think there's a stigma about poacher strikers or whatever.
Well, when you're scoring 10 goals and you're leading the league, there's nothing negative to say. I feel like because any team in the league would like to have him. I'll tell you that. Yeah,
he's doing great. I love to see him succeed. I never thought I'd be cheering for the guy. I was a little bit pessimistic originally. But what he's done and what he's shown and the work he has put in to look at the fan base and say, like, I understand what my role is here, what my position is here, and to own it and to do it, that's cherry on the cake, man. I'm very happy to see him succeeding.
Same. I think so too, because he deserved all the criticism that he got last year, but he deserves all the praise. He deserves all the praise that he's doing because he's putting the work. He understands it, like to your point. And now everybody's watching. He is the star of the show. He's the star of the MLS, right? Every week, right? When he scores a goal, what he does, it's only going to keep elevating him and his teammates. And I like what's going on with the Galaxy and him because it doesn't go without him putting the work in the offseason, losing weight. It doesn't go without him putting the work. He's working out outside of practice. He's doing the stuff outside. He talks about he has a nutritionist. He talks about a team that he has outside the soccer team, his personal team, and obviously all that. He talked about he does like martial arts and all the. It's helping him. And he's putting in the work outside, and I really like that. And I think the rest of the players can really sense that and understand, like, hey, if that guy is putting the work, we need to be putting in the work as well.
There's no
right?
excuse. There's no excuse. Yeah, if he can bounce back from like last year, like what excuse do we have?
Yeah, no, exactly. Quickly in the chat, man, G-Man's always good with these comments. He said,
What's up, G-Man?
He said, who has the better haircut, Araujo, San Jose, or Gio? I'm giving the edge to Gio, Joe, Loki. Nah, I was. You guys are being too kind. I would say Araujo, man. He's rocking the blonde hair.
He's looking fit. He's looking sharp.
Yeah. I got the hair because it's summertime, man. I was tired of. I was tired of having so much hair. I was just like, let me just cut it off. I told my barber. He's like, are you sure? I was like, let's do it, man. And then as soon as he started to cut it, I was like, wait. And I was just joking. I was just joking with it. But it's hot, man. I just got tired of doing my hair. So I was just like, yeah, no, you know what? Cut it off. Summertime. We'll see what's going on. But yeah, man, this game was great for what the Galaxy did, and everything. And obviously the Cali Classico. A lot of people here in the chat are talking about the rivalry. Which rivalry is better? The Galaxy, or I mean the El Tráfico or Cali Classico. I've seen a couple people in the chat talk about what is your perception? What are your thoughts? Which rivalry is better and why? El Tráfico or Cali Classico?
I think. And I don't know. It's it's complicated. The Cali Classico is a hard one because we've been bad and they've been bad and the games have been messes. And going back to like the older younger thing I have with my brother, like 2 years ago before all of this craziness, I took him to a San Jose game at the stadium and it was like a 0-0 draw or whatever. And he's like, that's it, right? Like lately, it's been not as explosive. So I think right now, or recently, it has been the LAFC one that has been more heated. They've been pretty good. And the games have been electric. I just saw a comment right now though, right? That said El Tráfico is hype for sure. And I saw another one, the history. And when San Jose is back, it will be fire. I agree with that. I think once San Jose, they're a little better now than they've been too. They're having all kinds of issues, but you see, in their elevation, like we bring in a little bit. Like over the last couple of years, we've been bad, so we've played down to each other, and the games have been like really bad. But I think with a little like more competitiveness, I think it'll come back. And I got to give it to the history. There's just too much history there.
Okay, yeah. No, that's good. I don't think there's a wrong answer because you got the history, and then with the El Tráfico, I mean. I feel it there. Like you can't say when it's LAFC they come to the Dignity Health Sports Park that like you don't want to be like, yo, get away from my stadium, or it's time for you to go. G-Man has another great comment. Galaxy fans act like San Jose is a bigger rival, but fans show up more for LAFC. The atmosphere is more intense for LAFC. Players more hype.
Lately,
okay. Lately, I would agree with G-Man there. Because I've gone to both games. Obviously, I do understand the history. But if San Jose is getting smacked around like they're getting smacked around,
yeah,
recency bias,
recency, yeah,
recency bias, it hasn't been as competitive, I would say, because this is my opinion, what I sense, when it's LAFC versus LA Galaxy, it's LAFC. The whole league knows LAFC versus LA Galaxy. When it's LAFC, I mean, when it's Galaxy versus San Jose, people know it, but it doesn't have the same to it. It doesn't have the same everything, right? Marketing, promotion, everything. Fans will go to the games, but it's not like how it used to be. You want blood. I feel like that's shifted a little bit more towards LAFC, right? But both rivalries are great.
I want to add to that too. I don't think it's like an and thing. Like, yes, San Jose is rival and LAFC is rival in a very different way. And I think we're seeing the growing pains a little bit of the league. It's growing, right? Rivalries will come and go and disappear or change or whatever. Like no one talks about how like even before San Jose, it was like LA Galaxy and DC United. Like that's not like a thing anymore, right? So it could be that in the next few years. It is just LAFC, depending on how things go, and I'm cool with that too.
No, and I like the rivalry. I think it's good. I like both of them. We have another one from Francisco. It says history equals Cali Classico, interesting intensity and soccer skills equal Tráfico. Okay,
I like it.
I like how you worded that.
I like that.
That is very, very, very smooth right there, and I like that. Obviously, with all rivalries and everything that the LA Galaxy have done, right? It's been impressive, right? I think right now, what are they sitting third?
Yeah.
They're sitting in third place, right behind SKC, who they play this weekend, and I think it's going to be a big game, July 4th. Against Sporting KC. Sporting KC just comes off beating LAFC, come from behind win. They may or may not be with Alan Pulido. LA Galaxy may or may not be with Jonah Dos Santos, Efrain Alvarez, because there's a game the day before with Nigeria. I wonder how much time they'll play. It's going to be at the Coliseum, so I don't know if Tata Martino is going to play them or not, or what's the case there. But going into the Sporting KC game and obviously the standings, what are your thoughts if they are missing a couple players?
Yeah, so I saw that today or yesterday or today that they're missing Jonah, and I think that's a big difference between Vancouver and the San Jose game too, is that Jonah was back and kind of in full force and he had himself a game. It's worrying, but I don't know. I'm the optimist. I get a bunch of crap because I'm optimistic. I'm like, yeah, it's a massive game. If we beat them, we have 2 games in hand on them. If we beat them, we jump them, and we're chasing Seattle and have a game in hand on them. It's massive. It's a blow, I think, to not have Jonah, Efra. The jury's out. But this is also the first time in a long time that I have trusted the ability of the staff to game plan, and for there to be depth on the bench. It might not be sexy depth, Kleshtin is slow, but he has heart. He'll slot in. I was a little bit surprised to see Efra over Victor Vasquez, this last game, but I'm thinking that Victor is transitioning into that role that he was probably brought in for, substitution, kind of leadership, let's close game down stuff. It's just that he impressed the first couple of games. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that with that, I mean, their depth may be tested for sure, but I think if you don't have a Efrain, obviously he's going to play where at the number 10. I'm assuming he's going to play there, right?
Right.
It just depends on how long his legs will last and who's going to sub in, right? And then we don't know what the bench will look like. Obviously, you got Adam Saldana who's played there. You got that depth. You got Cameron Dunbar, but he's mostly a wing player. He'll come in for Samuel Gansur. So it's gonna be interesting. But I also am very interested how Greg Vanney will game plan into this. Right, I think we're gonna find out more on Thursday. I think that's when the press call. But it's an exciting game because if we look at the standings, Seattle Sounders are 25. They have 25 points. Sporting KC has 23. Galaxy have 21 points. So yeah, if you beat Sporting KC, you jump up to second again. You get to 24 points. I mean, the tie doesn't really help you. You still stay in third, but I think it's a big game. It's going to be July 4th weekend. July 4th games are always exciting, right? You always got the fireworks. It's a big family event. So I'm very interested to see what happens and which players are going to be there. But I think if you go into the mindset of what you saw, what you did at San Jose, you can replicate that. I mean, I feel like Kevin Cabral definitely can play 90 minutes. Samuel Gansur can definitely go and play potentially 90 minutes. If not, he can get subbed out. Chicharito, he hasn't finished the games out. I don't think that's too big of a concern. I think he's really given it his all. But I think we do want to start seeing Chicharito finish some of these games. I don't think that's a concern or anything like that. But I think I like where Galaxy is positioned right now, even if they miss Efrain and Jonathan Dos Santos.
Yeah, and we're forgetting players like Carlos Harvey too. There are options, and there have not been options for a very long time. So I feel optimistic. I'm a little cautiously optimistic. They're good, man. They take their chances and they'll punish, right? But I don't know. I'm just hoping for a good game.
Yeah, no, same here. Francisco, he has a great comment. He says, I just can't stand Jonah with Mexico. I'd rather have Alvarez go and let Jonah stay in Galaxy. I think Jonah wants to go too, because I mean they're going to be playing in the Gold Cup, potentially those two. And then you got a comment. Jonah did say he wants to retire in the LA Galaxy. Let's talk about that, because I know it's been a great season. So compared to last year for the LA Galaxy, At times, it's been a little bit challenging for Jonah to stay consistent. How do you see Jonah? Do you see Jonah potentially retiring? Because this is his contract, right? He has to be put in the performance to get another contract. But do you see him more years maybe added to that contract?
It's
or
hard.
Another year.
It's hard because we love him. It's one of those like, thank you for the service you have given us. Like, you've been ride or die when you've been healthy through a really bad time in the team. That can't be said for his brother for a lot of reasons. So we appreciate Jonah, but I think the sentiment is growing, is that if he is going to be inconsistent as he has been, then he cannot occupy that TP contract, and he needs to take a TAM. And there's been a lot of conversation about Jonah for TAM. And I think if he wants to continue another couple of years, I would love to have him. I would love to see him retire in the shirt. I just don't know if he's going to take that TAM contract, but he is increasingly like played the least minutes of all VPs we've had in a while since his brother.
Yeah, no, I mean, good point. And his brother's also being linked to coming back to the MLS.
Yeah,
I know that. I did see that. He's done with America, but I think there's no way his brother Gio dos Santos is coming to Galaxy. Not what I was trying to get at. I was just saying it because you brought up his brother. Francisco brings up another good point. He says it's easier to say Javier will retire with the Galaxy. He looks more comfortable and happy here. Who would have thought to say that last year, right? Who would have thought? Like, we want, like, now everybody wants Chicharito to retire, and as everybody should be. But I think, that is a very good possibility. And I think also another possibility, Chicharito could potentially be getting interest if he continues this from European teams. I think he could definitely get, if he wants that opportunity again, because if he let's just go hypothetical, he ends up winning Golden Boot, he ends up getting the Golden Boot, right? Whatever he's on pace for, I don't know, 30 goals, or I don't know the pace he's on, but he could bring in very good interest to go back to Europe, or he could just say, you know what, I love LA, I love what I got here, I just want to stay here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I never thought I'd root for the guy. I've got like 2011 Gold Cup like trauma in the back of my mind with Chicharito over the years. But I have always said, and a lot of us have always said, that like, if you put on the Galaxy shirt and you honor the history and you love it and you want to be part of pushing it forward and making new fans and like being cool and being good and just being down, I think what it almost matters more to Galaxy fans for the player to be down for the team than like to be the best player in the world, because I think for a few years we've been gearing towards that, like, move away from the stars, even though he is a star, to like, let's have more of like, let's have that family collective unit feeling again we had like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I think that's what matters more to people. And if he wants to be part of that, or even more a leader in that, I think people embrace it. And if he contributes positively and he's a good voice and he doesn't become a cancer at any point in the locker room, I think people will be down for it.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I think everything where he's at mentally and what he has going on for himself. The unfortunate part, which we have to talk about, he's not getting called up for the Mexican national team right now. And it's the biggest elephant in the room, because I saw the Mexican national team tweet about, they tweeted about Jonathan Dos Santos. They tweeted about Efrain Alvarez, of the performance that they had, the statistics. But in the back of my mind, I'm like thinking to myself, how are you, like, if you're going to tweet about this game, either tweet about all three. You have to include Chicharito. I know he's not on there, but he with the history, he's the #1 goal scorer. Or just don't even talk about Jonathan Dos Santos or Efrain Alvarez, because if you don't think about it this way, you're giving a slight at Chicharito when you do that, when you're tweeting from the main account and you don't acknowledge, one, the player that scored the goals and the player that helped win the game essentially for them. Obviously, Efrain had a solid game. Jonathan Dos Santos had a solid, but the biggest elephant in the room is Chicharito not being on the national team. And I know a couple people. I saw a couple people tweet about it. Some people retweeted, and then but it just doesn't make sense to me to tweet out about that when that's the biggest elephant in the room. They can be, people had mentioned it could be Tata Martino's, burner account or something like that. But but to me, it just doesn't make just don't even talk about it. Don't even talk about Efrain Alvarez or Jonathan Santos if you can't talk about Chicharito. That's my view, and that's my view only because it comes across as disrespect to Chicharito when he's having the type of season he's having. And obviously there's something there that between Tata Martino and Chicharito, there's a rift there. Greg Vanney said, hey, we'd love to have him. If he's not going to get picked up, we'd love to have him here. As rightfully so, right? But the man deserves to be called up, right? And I think if there's a time for Tata Martino to call Chicharito is this week, because this week they're going to be playing in LA.
Yeah, even just to see him run out at practice or something, right? Like there's a lot of shade, I think, and I'm not too versed in the history of the Mexican national team. I think I've read a couple of things about there being incidents and shades and things and reasons that why he might not be there. I don't know, but as hot as he is, it's absolutely, unless there's like some crazy reason we don't all know.
There's just some beef between what's speculated, what I've been told between Tata Martino. There was something going on there.
It would seem, unless if it's not that, then it's straight up disrespectful. I don't know. It's disrespectful anyway. He's on fire. He's doing well. I think he's a good role model at the moment. I don't know, but we'll keep him.
And he's right. And I like that Greg Vanney said that because look, Tata Martino is no stranger to the MLS. Tata Martino coached and won with Atlanta United, right? And it makes him look, in my eyes, it makes Tata Martino look like, yo, you're being the petty one. You're the coach. You're being the petty one. This guy is tearing up the league, and you know how competitive the league is, and you know that the league is for real. You've coached it, and he the more goals that he scores, I saw some from the Mexican media like talking about like, yo, why hasn't Tata Martino called him? Chicharito, like, they love to bash Chicharito, but they also love the drama. Like, hey, he's killing the league. What, Tata Martino, what are you doing? And another caveat to that is Alan Pulido just got injured. He got injured against the LAFC game
or something. Right?
Yeah, and I don't know if and definitely not going to be playing. He's not going to get called up for this Wednesday game, and I don't think he'll play for the national team game on Saturday, and he may not be available for the LA Galaxy game. So I think that's going to make it very interesting because if you're out with Alan Pulido, and then Funes Mori, the guy they got there, he's Argentinian, but he's playing for the Mexican national team. Chicharito, if there ever is a week, this is the week. I'm gonna just keep saying this is the week that you got to do it. Like even if he comes off the bench, this is the week, because if Chicharito goes on to have the season that we expect he's gonna have, and he doesn't get called up, unfortunately for the Galaxy, but I mean, unfortunately for the Mexican national team, but fortunate for the Galaxy because he's gonna stay in rhythm.
Yeah, and maybe not lately, but similar for Vela, no, like. There was a little bit of like.
Well, Vela already closed the door. Vela closed the door. It's not. There's no beef. Vela closed the door. He's like, hey, give the other guys an opportunity. Chicharito's been vocal, as we know, that he wants to play.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like the Martino, like where the Martino MLS beef is right now, but I don't know.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think at the end this week. G-Man brings up another great point. There might be a rift, but in this current meta of soccer, poaching strikers are a dying breed, although Vanney is making it work. He definitely is. He definitely is. And I think he also adds, he says Tata may prefer a more versatile striker. A good point, but I would just add on to that. Like when a player is scoring goals, when a player is scoring hot, and Vanney said, hey, he could help out. I feel like he could help out any team right now. Like, there's versatile. I would say, Funes Mori may be a more versatile, striker. They have a couple other players. But when your player's scoring this many goals and killing the league, you can't ignore it. You know what I'm saying?
At a 60th minute and you need a goal and your substitute is Chicharito, like who wouldn't Chicharito right now, but like who wouldn't take that opportunity? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I just kind of went on a rant there. I know, but like, look, you got to look. As much as this man got bashed for, you got to give him his roses so far this season. Is what I'm getting at. And then look, I think everything is gold. He talked about, he killing it with the Galaxy. What he's done. That's so far. It's been a check mark. And also, scoring goals. That's been a check mark. And I think the next thing that he's had on his plate is to get back on the national team. So it's like whether that happens, it doesn't fall down to him, right? He's putting in the effort. And it can't fall on him. But I think we'll just have to see that, because whether he makes it or not, I don't think that's going to affect them with this team or how he moves forward. It was just going to be unfortunate, but fortunate for the Galaxy, and fortunate what they got going on. Now let's talk about where I know it's early, but where do you see the Galaxy going this season? How far do you see them going with what you've seen so far?
They have already exceeded my expectations.
What were your expectations? Give me what were your expectations?
We were taking bets. I think most of us at the beginning of the year.
What were the bets
of the boys? It was, all of us kind of agreed it was anywhere between like 5 and 7, definitely making the playoffs. But we felt like
5 or 7 what? Like finishing in
the table.
On the table?
Yeah, like between 5th or 7th, maybe squeaking in. I think I might have said squeak into the playoffs. And I would have been playoffs at a minimum always, right? With this team, like, that has to be the expectation. I thought we'd maybe just get there, fully accepting that this was a growing year. Now that it is seen that somehow with his Vanny magic, that like if this holds, I think we can contend for top 4. As we're looking at the table already, Colorado is 16 points. We have 21. If we can keep that gap of like 6 points or so, I mean, you never know what will happen. It's a long season. But I don't think it is crazy for us to finish in the top 4. And I say that like already being pretty pleased. Like, all I wanted this year was playoffs, please, somehow, and like please have some kind of system or growth. And to be seeing it so early is a blessing. And I'm very happy for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go as far as saying top 3, because I mean, I think obviously the Sounders is the number 1 team. No questions about that. Sporting Kansas City. I think we're going to learn a lot more going this game. Unfortunately, if they're not with Alan Pulido, you can only. But hey, if you get the win, you get the victory. That happens. But we're going to learn more about Galaxy this weekend as well.
Yeah.
Top 3 I think is very valuable. Top 4 for sure. But yeah, I mean, once you get in there, I mean, you're going to play with home field advantage. You're going to have a lot of things to work with, and by that time, hopefully, you get Derek Williams back, right? You get Ryan back, or you get Ryan in here. I think he's already here. Like you get a full the starting 11 that everybody thinks you're going to have with all the French players, right? And everybody fully healthy. And then the players that are starting right now, but going to the bench, that just adds experience to the Galaxy. You know what I'm saying?
It's a good problem to have, man. There's so much argument around like, well, who catches the bench? Like, is it Ephra? Is it Jonah? Is it legit? Like, to have, I can't remember. I mean, not in the last few years, the time where there was so much competition inside of the squad in a healthy way, in a positive way. It doesn't seem like there's any toxicity there. They just want to be good as a group, and like let's see some fights for positions.
Yeah, and I think that's what you want when there's competition within the group and for positions, because hey, if you're not having a good game, the next guy can step up, unfortunately. But it's a good reason, because I think that's what you want, and that's what you're seeing in every position. There is a player that can compete for the spot, or someone gets injured or pulls something, hopefully nothing too serious that takes them out. You have that safety net. Hey, the next man can step up. And I think that's a good feeling to have moving forward. But yeah, I think that's all the time we have, man.
Cool, man.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, likewise.
Anything else you'd like to add? Anybody else in the chat would like to add?
Let's see what the chat says.
G-Man, he brings up he brings up a good point. He says, if Javier Hernandez gets stuff from the national team, he might have his Donovan moment and turn up for the second half of the season.
He might.
I like that. I like that. I like. Hopefully, we get to see that. Yeah. Hopefully, we get to see him turn it up a little bit more than we already have it. Let me ask you. Let's finish off with this. How many goals do you think he'll finish with?
Man, I want him to be like 30 goals. He's on pace for that, but I think he'll go.
Possible. It's possible.
It's very possible. And we'll see with Cabral and Grancer, like if they can continue the service. I think he'll walk away. I'm just pushing it a little bit. I'm gonna say 25.
Fair enough.
25 goals on the season.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Look, it's rolling the right way. So, I definitely 25 goals. I mean, he's 15 away, so that's very, very possible. Well, Nelson, man, it's a pleasure to have having you on.
Thank you so much, Gio.
Yeah. Before we let you go, let the people know where they can follow you.
Yeah. So me personally, I'm CountShock786 on Twitter, but you can follow us and find the other guys at G30 Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And we're on YouTube as well, doing some live shows. I think we're going to do our second live one tomorrow night.
Nice.
So we'll be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much, Gio. Yeah.
No, definitely follow Nelson, the G30 podcast and everything they're doing. It was a pleasure to have him on. Guys, if you guys are listening to this, make sure to give this a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts if you just enjoyed this episode. And join us every Monday night. We talk LA Galaxy. Love to have you guys on the chat, and chat with us. If you guys want to follow me, you guys can follow me at Gio Garcia LA on Twitter. Make sure to follow us on everything LA Soccer Hub on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you get your social media. So for Nelson, this is Gio. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.